How's it, Bills fans? Lance Nelson, president of Built in Buffalo, here with Benjamin Shoop, almost to America's 250th birthday here. So we're all excited for Independence Day. We've got a lot of World Cup, the U.S. just advancing last night. So some cool stuff going on. And Shoop, we're in the dog days of summer. We're going to go through some fun stuff here. We got a little betting on Buffalo segment up. We're going to do a few quick thoughts on the happenings since the last time we were here to talk with you. I was on vacation last week. Benjamin had some technical difficulties, so we took a week off, and here we are back and better than ever. But first, let's give you a little word from our sponsor, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Well, folks, I finally did it. I completed my program here, 12 weeks, and I am down 37.8 pounds overall, feeling great. When I started this journey, I just had turned 40. I wanted to make better life choices, and boy, Awaken 180 Weight Loss has helped me do that through education, coaching, and analytics. They help me understand what to eat, when to eat, and why to eat. You eat to lose weight on this program. You're not starving yourself. You're not taking medication. There's nothing you can't eat, really. You just have to know when and why, and the coaching takes care of all of that, so there's no guessing. Awakening 180 has been a blessing, and now I'm in maintenance mode. I'm still going strong. I'm still logging, eating what I want, and still going to be losing weight, but I feel really great, and I can't thank Jen, my coach, enough in Awaken 180 Weight Loss. So if you want to get looking good for that opening kickoff, do what I did. Schedule a consultation today at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. All right, let's get into a little football talk. Sup, Shoop?
Oh, nothing much. Great week of sports in general. Still not too much, I guess, on the Bills front in the NFL. It's still that dead-ish season for the NFL. But in general, sports has been a phenomenal week. You got the World Cup, you got NHL, NBA action going on with all the free agency and trades, and baseball, is right now obviously still going on. So good week of sports. Excited to dive into kind of maybe what the sports books thinks of the Bills and what they predict for around what the Bills will be at and for their players and team. So excited to dive into that.
Absolutely. And if you haven't done so yet, I know it's early, you're just getting in, joining us, but smash that like button for us and share with your friends. Head on over to YouTube, get that like in, and subscribe to that Built in Buffalo YouTube page as well, and help us in the algorithm there. We all appreciate it here at Built in Buffalo Podcast Network. All right, quick thoughts. First thing, Bills ribbon cutting at the stadium. They finally were able to get occupancy, or temporary at least. And Ben, how do you love ribbon cutting ceremonies? Is it your favorite thing?
Oh yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm going to be honest, and part of it for me might be because I do live right next to it and I see it every day, is I don't really get the hype in general at this point. Like, I get now it's starting to get to the point, and the Buffaloes, which those also arrived. I'll throw that in there as well. As the last two Buffaloes arrived, or Bison, whichever the technical term for what they are. That was cool to see, and it's cool to see the progress. But I just like things like the ribbon cutting ceremony, or just all the little things that they kind of throw in there that, to me, don't get me too excited, because it's like, okay, cool, you cut the ribbon, you're showing the inside. I don't care unless I'm there at this point.
Right,
like
exactly.
The videos are cool. I've seen the outside already. Seeing the inside's cool, but at this point, I'm kind of just being like, all right, I just want to be in there, and I don't really care to watch a bunch of people celebrate the opening of the stadium, in general. So cool to see the inside, and cool to just see the stadium in general. But maybe it's just, like I said, because I live right near the stadium and see it every single day and have seen the progress every day. I'm kind of just ready to be in the stadium.
Yeah, I'm hyped to get over there and see the big ass buffaloes. And so, you've driven past them? Obviously, have you stopped to see them at all, or just in drive by? And what do you think of them?
Yeah, I mean, I've driven by him. Again, PSA, if you're going to drive by to look at the stadium, please go park and look. Please don't stop in the middle of the road on that on Abbott there. Um, but yeah, I mean, they are big. They are big. I think people will have already stated and will continue to say they like them maybe better than the smaller baby one.
Mhm.
I think they're awesome. I mean, I'm you can also kind of see, I guess, where the smoke's going to come out because I believe there's going to be smoke coming out of the Buffaloes if I'm not uh,
Right.
mistaken. They're going to have they'll all light up, I believe, as well. So you can kind of tell when you're driving by, like seeing it where the smoke's going to come out and all that. So yeah, I mean, it's cool to see. I just now, yeah, like I said, I want to be able to walk up to them and actually go see them up close and personal now, with the excitement of, hey, I'm going to watch the team open the stadium up for the first time. Or
Exactly. Yeah,
not
it's going to be
first time,
exciting. Going to be exciting to get some photos nearby and just see, obviously the first home game of the regular season is going to be a night game. So we're going to show those off first thing right out of the gate. So that'll be cool to see. Um, all right. Just a couple other things really quick. John came in. Nice comment here, John, is that DJ Moore did reach out and bought like $1,200 or $1,500 worth of shirts from a small business, and then told the manager to give them away. So that was really nice that DJ Moore already making an impact in the community. We met DJ earlier at a taping of Buffalo Under the Helmet podcast, and could see his generosity really quick and understand why that he was going to make an impact. And he was sort of asked about that during that podcast, about what sort of impact he's going to make off the field, and had a pretty good answer there. So you can check out Buffalo Under the Helmet on YouTube and check out DJ's spot there. The other thing I saw, TJ Parker was on the Centered on Buffalo podcast with Eric Wood, and I just thought was interesting episode with Eric. So if you haven't checked out Center on Buffalo with Eric Wood and TJ Parker, go check that out as well. He said at the end of it, or towards the end of it, his go-to move when he needs to get a pass rush win is the long arm. And then I actually saw something on Twitter from one of the old lineman pages that there was a guy telling people how to defeat the long arm. So I just thought it was interesting that TJ sort of gave away his go-to. And as a rookie, how much success do you think a rookie can really have with a go-to move? You think that's something that they can really rely on? It's one of those things, do what got you here, kid, but also you're going to have to make some adjustments when you get to the big leagues here.
I will say I do think it's good that he's aware that he has a go-to move. He probably has more than one, or he's going to, maybe they're kind of getting that into him of like, hey, you have your one go-to, you got to have 3 or 4 go-tos, like 3 or 4 that hey, I can do this, this, or this, or at least more than one, 2 at the least. So I think it's good he has a go-to. Like you said, is it great that he is maybe saying it what it is and kind of being as open about it? I'm not sure. I feel like that's one of those things where at the end of the day, you might be able to, know from a video, an offensive lineman might be able to know from that video or whatever, thinking in a game. But at the end of the day, you got to be ready for it when you're lined up and that football's down.
For sure.
And even if
it's not like the linemen aren't going to scout him and know that that's something he's going to want to use either. So.
Yeah. I mean, for how many years did people probably say, they knew JJ Watt's go-to move, or they knew, TJ Watt or Myles Garrett, they know, but at the end of the day, if it's good enough, it'll get the job done, right? If it's really that good and it's that good of a move to you, it shouldn't matter. Based on how much can he make an impact with that his rookie year, it's tough. It really is tough, just because rookies, one, it's such a crowded D-line room, and 2, rookies in general, unless you're a top pick, I feel like it's a little hard to make a massive impact. You can make a good one. You can make, big time moments and come up big in the playoffs or anything. But as a whole season of like production, I'm not expecting him to go out there and beat the Bills' first, second, or even third, maybe even fourth best defensive lineman. I'm not expecting that out of him.
Right on. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they're able to progress there, and what his role grows into as the season wears on. And injuries have a way of evening things out. So even though he's not expected to play a major role, we may see him get into more action than expected at times if things roll a certain way, which we, knock on wood, hope that doesn't happen. But you always have to understand there's a possibility of that. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show and the betting stuff, John Robert, a great question of asking about our dear friend Scott here. He's doing great, healing up. He's hopefully going to be able to rejoin us after the holiday here. We'll see how it's going, but just taking it a day at a time, and hopefully once he's able to sit for an extended period of time with us here, we'll have him back, and we'll be happy to. So keep healing there, Scott. We do miss you, and we'll hope to have you back after the holidays. So if you haven't done so already, like I said, like and share this episode on Facebook, repost and like on X. Come on over to YouTube, hit the like button on YouTube, and subscribe to that Built in Buffalo YouTube channel. Then click on the bell to get notified every time we go live. We are sponsored by the Big Tree Inn. It's wing night over at the Big Tree Inn. They are the official tailgate sponsor of the Triple Coverage Podcast and Built in Buffalo. Head on over to the Big Tree Inn if you haven't had dinner yet and grab yourself some delicious wings. I like the Murph sauce personally myself. At Awaken 180 Weight Loss, appreciate them as we already spoke about. Wingnuts Buffalo, appreciate John and Quan and those folks over at Wingnuts Buffalo for their hospitality each and every time we join them. And 716 Barbershop on Broadway in Depew. Head on over to the Cut app and click on this here QR code to get a cut by Dennis and his crew. Nice barbershop over there, very clean, and does really good fades. So if you're looking for a fade this summer, staying cool, head on over to the Cut app and book with 716 Barbershop on Broadway in Depew. Take it away, Benjamin.
All right. Ready for some little betting talk. And, this is, you said it before the show, this was like Scott's segment. Like Scott's a betting guy, and he's not even here. Yeah. I know.
We do have to plug. Scott's gonna. So it'll be. Scott's gonna be putting on a blog before the season with prop bets and things of that nature. So it'll be interesting to see if you watch this episode and see what lines were given today, and you go back and read Scott's blog before the season starts, how the lines might have shifted between now and then. So that's one thing I'll be looking out for, and hope you guys enjoy Scott's blog when he does drop it. I hope get out there and make sure you're looking out for builtinbuffalonews.com.
Sorry, I just kind of had something pop up real quick on my phone, but go ahead. Sorry, am I going into it now?
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right. So quick, just note to everybody, we're going to go through some players, some of the team, just the prop bets, what their lines are. Unfortunately, the defense doesn't really have too many major things to talk about when it comes to betting. One, because defensive player prop betting isn't as big, obviously, as offensive players, and the Bills also don't really have any stud superstar defensive players that are in the running for defensive player of the year heavily, but we will talk about that a little bit. But let's talk about the offense first. We'll start with some player props, start with the big man on campus, the quote-unquote owner of the Miami Dolphins, one of the best quarterbacks of the league, the best quarterback in my mind, Joshua Allen. I got 3 different lines I want to talk to you about, and I'm going to throw them out there. Then I want you to pick which one that kind of intrigues you the most, or you like the most, or you hate the most, whichever you want to pick. But he's got passing touchdowns, rush or passing yards, and then his MVP odds. So his passing touchdowns right now for -110 is at 24.5. So do you think he gets over 24.5? Do you think he gets 25 or more? Passing yards, 3,599.5, so 3,600 or more. And then MVP odds. He is the highest MVP odds right now, according to all of these odds are going to be DraftKings. He's at +550. Right behind him is Lamar Jackson at +650. And then Mahomes, Herbert, and Burrow all tied at +1,000. I believe May might have been right next at like +1,100. So out of those 3 for Josh Allen, if you had to pick one that you're going to go with, or the one that maybe just intrigues you the most, which is it?
I'd pick the touchdowns over 24.5 touchdowns. I think he smashes that. I might even parlay all 3 together and just throw, if I get a $5 bonus bet or $10 bonus bet on it, might just throw all 3 together if I can and rip it in there. But I like the over 24.5 touchdowns. for Josh Allen. I think he's going to be a little bit different than what we've seen the last year or two under, Sean McDermott, even though Joe Brady's still in town. I think there's going to be a little bit more firepower there in the passing game. I think the yards, I would take the over as well. And, we'll see about the MVP. There's just a lot of talented players out there. And depending on what team gets hot when and how all the standings shake out, with the MVP voting. But I don't think that I'd be shy about sprinkling a little bit there on the MVP. But my favorite of the three, again, is over 24.5 touchdowns at -110.
Yeah, I do like both the props, both 25 or more touchdown passes than 3,600. I just think they're going to pass it more this year. I think that they're going to go a little bit back to it. They're not going to go completely, obviously, away from what they've been. They're still going to run the ball a good amount. I just think that he's going to smash those, especially the passing touchdowns. I think that's easy over. The MVP one, though, intrigues me the most because I really don't like those odds for Josh Allen. Like, I know, it's still plus money either way. But for a future that's so unpredictable in a lot of years, yes, you always have the top main guys up there. I don't think I would take that right now. I think I would wait to go into the season, see if it drops. Maybe after the first few weeks, if somebody else makes a huge push, Lamar, if he has a big first few weeks, if Burrow lights it up. Because if I'm looking at it and I'm looking Burrow at plus 1,000 or Josh Allen at plus 550. Even though I think Josh Allen, yes, does have a better chance to win it, which is the odds are telling you that, I would take Burrow at plus 1,000 because I think those are just, in general, a better chance, obviously higher payout. So I don't necessarily love his MVP odds. I'm probably going to wait on that one, to be honest, because even if it's week 8, I don't know if it's going to be, and he's leading the vote or leading the consensus, I still don't know if it's going to be that much higher than plus 550. So that's the only thing I'd like to say about that. His rushing, I didn't really see that one too much. At least rushing touchdowns, I didn't see. I think rushing yards was somewhere in the 500s. Do you think, 500? Do you think I don't think he's really going to come close to 500 or 600, if I'm being honest. I think as he's gotten older, yes, he'll still run, but I don't think we're seeing. I think I saw maybe 4 in the 400s, but I thought I saw in the 500s for his rushing yards. And I just think that he won't hit that. And Roy does bring up a QB like Josh Allen not having 4,000 in the season is criminal. That it kind of is, but I'm going to look it up here. I think a while ago.
When you have the leading rusher, right? That's probably why he didn't have.
Well, can you also, I don't know if you can look it up, Lance, there wasn't that many 4,000-yard passers last year, in general.
I'm on the stats page right now. I'll look it up.
I don't think there were that many last year. I think I want to say maybe 7 guys reached 4,000, maybe a little few more, but a lot of the guys towards the end were just barely over 4,000. So yes, while I do think they need to get close to 4,000, it's not that same day and age of 2012 where, you got Peyton throwing for 5,000, Drew Brees pretty much averaging 5,000 over a 3-year stretch, right? During those earlier in that time period. But, it's a different time period. They're going to be chewing clock. Games are going to be a little bit slower. So
6 guys over 4,000, Stafford 4,700, Goff 45, Prescott 45, Drake May 43, Sam Darnold 4,048, and Trevor Lawrence just eked it out with 4,007. Josh Allen had 30,668 last year.
Yeah. Well, I would like to see it though closer to 3,800, 3,900. It's just a different.
I think he may be in the 4,000s this year for sure. I think that again, I just think he will. He will be throwing the ball a little bit more, or the offense is going to open up a bit more. So I think that you have the ability to see him. His stats are going to rise, I believe.
Yeah, same. I would love to. It's funny they don't have his rushing touchdowns. It's so funny to me. I feel like it'd have to be a double-digit line at the least.
15, 12, and 14 the last 3 years. 579 yards last year, 531 before that, 524. Then he was in the 700s 2 years before that. The year where they did, I think 2020 maybe was one of their best offensive years, potentially with more passing. He had 421. So still got over 400, but didn't quite eclipse the 500 mark when they did have one of their best offensive seasons, which is great because he shouldn't need to run as much. He should be distributing the ball to the playmakers and not having to do as much. That's what makes the Bills the best team.
Yeah. Well, we know who's rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. We do have James Cook, the other big dog at this offense. Like you said, leading rusher last year. His rushing yards are obviously significantly lower than what he had last year. For his odds, they have him at 1,249.5. So 1,250 or more. Can he get that? I think. Well, I'll start this one because I think his rushing touchdowns number is 10.5. I think that's too low. I think Josh Allen, his number would be higher than that, and I just think 10.5, he's going to hit that. I think they're going to give him the ball. He loves to get that extra effort to get in sometimes. I think he's going to be a guy that hits the end zone 11 plus times on the ground. His rushing yards, I'm going to say he doesn't hit that for two reasons. One, like I said, I do think they're going to throw it a little more, and I also think they're going to utilize him a little bit more maybe in the passing game, which also I think in turn they'll have to lean on the other guys a little bit more. I do think Ray Davis will get a few more carries. He had that great return season last year. He's kind of been open and vocal about, like, I want a little bit more opportunity. I think you'll see him used a little bit more. Now, if that's in the run game or the pass game, we'll see. But I don't know if he hits that number. I don't know. Last year was a phenomenal year. But what did he have in the 1,500 last year?
1621 last year.
1621. Like, that is a phenomenal season. It's just so hard to do that 2 seasons in a row. I think he'll get close to 1,250. I just don't think he'll hit it.
He had 1,100 yards after contact. That's pretty wild.
That is
not the best.
That's almost right there.
The best was Jonathan Taylor with 1,227, and then 1,225 for Derrick Henry, which you could imagine. And then 1121 for Bijan, and then it was Cook with 1102. So, interesting. Nearly just over 1,100 yards after contact alone, and then 1,600 yards total. I got to think that he comes darn near close to the 1,250 mark. I don't think they're going to completely abandon the run, but I do think they're going to throw the ball more. But I think there's also going to be still scoring a bunch of points, and it's not going to be like an offense is going. I don't think the offense is going to slow down. I think they're going to be able to. Everyone's going to be able to raise up and still produce. I don't think that you're going to completely take James Cook away. So, I'd expect him to finish between 1,300 and 1,400 yards next year for James Cook.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't think he's going to hit it, but I don't think he'll be far off. I think he'll be right around that 1,200-yard mark, which still is a phenomenal season. I think some Bills fans would be like, what? James Cook only has 1,200 yards? Like, what happened? Like,
yep.
That can't be that great. That's still a very good season. I just don't expect 1,600 yards again. If he does it again, oh my gosh, then we're in a different conversation with James Cook. I think even in the NFL analysts, if he hits towards 1,600 again, then it's that conversation of, okay, where does he really belong with these other running backs in this conversation? So that's a different one. That's the reason why I
think he is special. I think his game is special enough to warrant him in that conversation. And I think he's going to get, like I said, I peg him between 1,300 and 1,400 yards. I don't know if he'll get to 15, but I think he'll be right, over 1,300 would be where I would be comfortable still taking it. So the over on the 120 or 1,249.5, I would hit the over there. And like I said, I think you're going to have to be having that conversation of just how special and how good is James Cook, comparing him to his peers.
Well, in order for him to be in that conversation, he'd also have to be in another conversation during the season this year, and that'd be Offensive Player of the Year. His odds right now sit at plus 1,800. I like those odds. I really do, to be honest. Yep. The guys in front of him, there's still a few more than the 5 I'm about to read, but the top 5 in that is Gibbs at plus 650, Bijan plus 850, Jamar Chase at plus 1,200, and Puka at plus 1,300. So, obviously this is a lot of tough names that he's going to be going up against. The 5 that I just named
in there.
Like, I mean, you don't have Derrick Henry in there. You don't have the Jonathan Taylor, who you just had on there, Saquon Barkley, who obviously had a down season last year, but is two seasons removed from a 2,000, almost 2,000 yard season. 2,000,
Right.
he did hit 2,000 yards, right? Yeah, 2,000 yard season. Like,
Have to see what AJ Brown looks like for his
yeah,
odds in New England there. With
yeah, the JSN just won it last year. He's not even in the top 5 this year. Like, there's so many guys you're gonna have to beat out. Do you really think that he can win this? Like, you kind of just alluded to it. Do you think his odds should be higher? Do you think he should be in that conversation with Puka, Jamar, Bijan, Gibbs of, hey, this guy really can win this award? I'm not there yet. Like I said, I need one more season of really major production, especially in both the air and the ground. I just think guys like Gibbs and Bijan and especially guys like Puka, like they're so in such great situations and they're so talented that I just think it's going to be tough for him to get to that. But do you think that maybe he should be a little higher than that?
I don't think it should be any higher. I love, like you said, I love the odds. I wouldn't mind sprinkling on that. And I think after this year, like I mentioned with the yards and the touchdowns too, is like, I do think that he's going to take a step forward in some of the roles that we haven't seen him in yet. I just think that he's not going to completely take over the backfield. He's going to need to be spelled by Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. And I think that, everyone's going to want to be rotated there, but I do think Cook's going to have an uptick even in his passing game, his receiving stats. So I think that would help him have more of a chance with it. If he is able to come close to leading the league in rushing again and then has better receiving stats as well, then you're getting close to that Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, and those kind of guys, obviously Gibbs, that do everything out of the backfield. And I think James Cook has every ounce of ability to do so. I just think that, he's going to have to, we should have seen if there was any fumble props here, because I think he had 8 fumbles last year. He's going to need to lower that number. And they have him on NFL Plus, for what it's worth. Next Gen Stats has him at 6 fumbles, 3 lost, but maybe there was 2 more in the playoffs. So maybe this is regular season only. But
he did have at least 1 in the playoffs. I know that for a fact.
Absolutely. So you're going to have to, you're going to have to lower that number if you want to have, if you want to win that award. But I think he'll do that, and I'm excited to see. I've been pretty high on him for fantasy purposes too, and I've been drafting him, and I took him even in all the main running backs that everyone told you to take were gone in the second round last year. So I ended up pairing him with another top tier running back in my on my teams and getting him in the second round, and it went very well for me. As you could see by that belt over my shoulder, I did beat Ben Shoop in the fantasy football league for the Built in Buffalo, and then I also won my other league I was in with my buddies in an ESPN format. So yeah, I was high on Cook. I've been riding him in fantasy for the last 2 years, and I think that it's only going to keep going from here.
Yeah, well, if I pick before you this year, no matter what, even if I'm first overall, and you're
James Cook first overall,
I'm taking James Cook, and that you're not getting him. That's all I know. So we're gonna somehow rig it where I get a pick before you, but we'll figure that out at a different date. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Offensive Player of the Year, that'd be awesome to win it. I'd wonder though how much Josh Allen's play would have an impact on how they would view him in that aspect. Obviously, we'd have to see if Josh kind of has a meh season for Josh and Cook still has a phenomenal season. Yeah, that's gonna maybe be looked at differently. But if Josh also has a phenomenal season,
right,
it might be like, well, if Josh wins MVP, it's like, well, can we really give an MVP and Offensive Player of the Year to the same team? And oh, sorry, I just saw Roy's comment here. Off topic, but when does PPP make their debut on BIB? Do you know that, Lance?
I'm not sure exactly when they're going to start yet. I haven't heard the initial date.
If there is a date out, it would be on our Facebook or Twitter.
Yeah, check the Facebook page. They just dropped a little teaser today, I think. So, yeah, they're going to be coming. Happy to have them join us, and should be seeing those guys pretty soon.
Yeah. All right, sorry, yeah, I just saw that pop in there real quick. But yeah, James Cook, those are his three big guys that we're gonna talk about. The last for the offense, wide receivers, tight ends. We're obviously not gonna go through all of them because there's not even odds for all of them. Like DraftKings, they're not gonna have odds for Jackson Hawes. He's not gonna have odds for Skylar Bell, right? They're not going to have him for the. I mean, Keon might have him for all we know, but from what I saw, three really big guys that I want to talk about: DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid. Which one would you like to go over first?
Kincaid is one of the more interesting ones. Excuse me, that I want to talk about first, because I'm interested to see how much they're going to feature him in this offense now. And if he can stay healthy, I think he absolutely obliterates both of those numbers.
Yeah, his numbers are very wow, what's the word I'm looking for? Giving. Very giving. It's the best I can come up with right now. Yeah, they're low to me. And his touchdown numbers, obviously by the odds, are a little bit misleading. Like his touchdown number is 3.5. But it's minus 165. So it's not, you're not getting what you're getting for Josh Allen. Obviously, it's not a major difference, but still, 3.5 touchdowns is low. Like if it was 5.5, I would even consider hitting that. And I know, yes, he's had his issues staying on the field and all that, but it just, I really think he is a weapon in the red zone for this offense. So that's one that I mean, even if I can get it at 4.5, I'm going to smash it for better odds. Like I just think Dalton Kincaid, if he's not can stay on the field, which again is a big if. I know we're not talking about Justin Herbert, we're talking about Dalton Kincaid. But I think 3.5 is too low. I think he's easily going to get 4 because he is just a huge part. And I think a lot of last season, even when I look back at last season, remember last season, I feel like a lot of plays came down to important plays where him in the back of the end zone or him just finding a way to get him the ball in the red zone. So I like that number for him. His yards is 549.5. That one, the only reason I'm hesitant on is because of injuries. I think even with injuries, he can still hit the touchdowns easily. Even if he misses 4 games, I think he could easily hit that.
Maybe in the first game, even he might just have 4 touchdowns week 1.
Wouldn't shock me. I mean, he could hit half of that in one game. Easily. Yeah. Like I just think that number is easy. His yards one is the one that kind of makes me take a step back. While I do think if he plays 17 games, even 16, I think he's hitting that. But if he plays 12, 13.
And if Josh Allen can hit him on some deeper routes like he's been trying to, then I think that obviously is going to, if you have deeper routes and complete them, you're going to have more yards by virtue of that. So that would also help achieve that goal.
Yeah. And you said you're going to smash both of them at 550 for yards and 4 touchdowns. You got anything else on do you want to add on that?
No, I think, Kincaid's poised to have it's make or break sort of thing, and I think he's going to come out and surprise people. Maybe people think he can do it, so it won't be as big of a surprise, but I think he's going to be able to work out a little bit better this year, and like I said, eclipse both of those numbers in my opinion.
Yeah, they've been. I mean, he's been the big news about working with the trainers with him and getting that knee right. But yeah, I mean, if he can stay on, I think he's going to nail it. Next question I got is about the 2 receivers. I'm going to merge them together with their yards. I just want your answer on who you think has a better chance of getting the over on their yards. DJ Moore,
Khalil Shakir. Sorry,
I gotta tell the people the numbers first. Sorry, they don't even know what the numbers are. We have it. We can see it on our screen. They can't see your screen there, Len. But yeah, DJ Moore is at 824.5, so 825 or more, and then Khalil Shakir is at 649.5, so 650 for Khalil Shakir and 825 for more. You said your answer. I'm going to disagree though. I'm going to go DJ Moore. I think there's a reason they traded for him. There's a reason they guaranteed him that money and kind of said, hey, we're going to take care of you here financially and make sure you're locked down. You're not going to have to worry about that, about us cutting you in 3 years or anything like that. I think he's going to nail it. I think he's going to get over 900 easy. I think he's going to hit 1,000. Khalil Shakir, I do like his number. I do. I just think it's tough for a guy that I believe I heard he had 7 total catches past 7 yards, or maybe he's even less than that. WGR had the number yesterday or 2 days ago. It was either 3 or 7 catches over 7 yards, over 7 air yards. Sorry, air yards. Like that's just so hard to get over 650 if you're continuously doing that. Now, do I think it's going to stay that way this year? I hope not, and I don't think so. I do like both numbers, but I would say I would go with DJ Moore as I think the one that is more likely to hit that.
I think DJ Moore just opens up the offense so much more, no pun intended, that Khalil Shakir, is going to be, it should be easy to have DJ Moore at or around or even above 900, Khalil Shakir around, he was at 719 last year, somewhere around 700 again, and Dalton Kincaid over 550. I think all three of those, if the offense hits its stride and is able to click in the passing game, I think those are all achievable numbers. I think you have, if you look at the wide receiver yards list from last year, you have multiple teammates that have over 1,000 yards, and then you have multiple teammates where they and their teammate both are over 850, let's say, or 840. T. Higgins 846 with Chase well over 1,400 yards. So it's like it's not impossible for these guys to put up those stats. I think that there's a lot of the top 35 all had over 789, and there's a bunch of pairs of teammates there. So Kincaid himself last year had 571. So again, I don't see that coming down for Kincaid. I don't see Khalil Shakir really regressing much. I just think that, DJ Moore is going to add to that, and all those, maybe some of those targets and the things that some of the plays that didn't go well, some of the volume plays might go away, but it's going to be more effective for guys like Shakir. It's not going to be, like I said, the volume. It's more, he's going to have more room to operate downfield. And I think you will see that 5 to 15 yard range for Khalil Shakir really open up with DJ Moore in the lineup.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, for me, it's tough to see Shakir get that just because of the circumstances of, we do like to run the ball. He doesn't necessarily get downfield on air yards. I do think they'll change a little bit, like I said, but I just think DJ Moore, as much as, yes, he'll help everybody, I just think if he doesn't hit his number, like just the perception of, you gave up a second round pick, you guaranteed him all this money for 800 yards. Like, it's going to be tough. But I mean, if the offense is rolling, I don't think anybody will care at the end of the day. But yeah.
I mean, I kind of fully expected him to get 1,000. I don't really think that.
Well, last year, Khalil Shakir obviously did hit his number. He had 719 last year. He was the leading receiver as well. So if we're looking at last year, DJ Moore's not hitting his number. If we're looking at last year's receiving corp, right? So that should change, though. And by the way, I didn't even mention this. I'm just looking right now if we're looking at everybody's lines this year. Josh Allen had 25 touchdowns last year, so he would have hit his touchdowns. He had 3,668 yards, so he would have hit that last year. Obviously, MVP wouldn't have won that. James Cook smashed his yards. Rushing touchdowns, he had 12, so he also hit that. So that would have been over as well. Obviously, Offensive Player of the Year didn't do that. Shakir hit his. Dalton Kincaid also hit his last year as well with 5 touchdowns and 571 yards. So, I mean, I know some people might, look at this and say, oh, you guys are saying that everyone should hit. I mean, last year, if you look at last year,
it's a great offense. Why wouldn't they? I mean, this isn't impossible. These numbers aren't astronomical. Like I said, you had Kyle Pitts had like 900 yards to tight end. I'm not expecting that, but Bowers 680. DJ Moore had a down year at 682 last year with the Bears, and with Josh Allen as his quarterback and being more the focal point, you don't think he can get 150 more yards? Absolutely could. Easy.
Yeah.
It's just, and yeah, the Bills didn't necessarily have anybody, as secondary receiver coming in over the top like that. They had Shakir and Kincaid as their top, but yeah, I think that some of these targets that went to other people, are gonna. You had, let's see here, 23 to Shavers, which he's going to be, he had 17 to Moore, 18 to Gabe Davis. There's 35 right there, 11 to Cooks. There's 46. And then, 9 to Samuel. There's 54 just off the bat that can go to DJ Moore. So, and
And I
then
expect
you
them
obviously
to
probably
have
going
it.
to take some targets away from the other guys as well, right? So,
Yeah.
like I said, I think it's just going to be more efficient. Still 10 yards per reception basically for Khalil Shakir last year. Positive receiving EPA. Kincaid had a huge plus 38.5 receiving EPA. So Kincaid's a plus player. 9.1 air yards per target. I just think that Shakir's biggest thing is average separation 3.8. I think he's going to improve so much on that because he's going to have more space. And then his catch percentage went down. Catch rate went down to 75.8% last year. But I really, like I said, I think that Shakir is going to be more effective, more efficient in this offense. So even if you take 20 targets away from him, 15 targets away from him, he's still going to be in that 60, 65 range, averaging 12, 15 yards a catch. And I think that gets him to where he needs to be for that over.
John brings this up real quick. Last thing on the offense, and you can just give me a simple answer if you want. You can give a long one. I'm just going to give a simple one. Stevie thinks Keon will have 200 more yards than last season. He had 404 last year, so that put him at 600. I don't think that's happening, in my opinion, and I would smash the under on that. I would put honestly I'd probably put my entire bank account on that bet. I think I would smash it if it was they gave him 404 yards, which was what his number was last year. I don't think he's going to even hit that, if I'm being honest. I'm not saying you think that's going to happen, John. I know you're just saying that Stevie thinks that, but Stevie, man, we love you. Hope to see you again soon, but I don't know about that one. That's a bold prediction for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just not on the Keon Coleman train, and I hope that the Wizard Stevie Johnson proves to be right. It's all love. I mean, I obviously you want to be optimistic for the guy, and you can't give up on him just yet. But I do think that for me, maybe it's instead of Khalil Shakir, then maybe maybe Keon Coleman's the biggest benefactor in this offense with DJ Moore there and creating more space and giving him better matchups and things like that. Yeah. That could get him there. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the DJ Moore, Shakir, and Kincaid trio are going to be the main focal point. And unless, he had 59 targets last year, Keon, for 38 receptions, if that catch rate improves, maybe again, if this whole deep ball thing that Josh is working on gets there and they hit more, or if they start hitting that slant because there's more room with Shakir and everything. So I just think there's going to be those type of things in play, and if everything works out perfectly, then yeah, you'll have that. But I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I mean, if you said maybe two more touchdowns than what he had 4 last year, I'd maybe say, okay, that's a different conversation. 6 touchdowns, that's a different one because he is maybe more a red zone guy. But yeah, I just don't think that's going to happen. I just think unless somebody gets hurt, like unless DJ Moore gets hurt, unless even James Cook gets hurt, and they have to rely on the passing game that much more. I mean, I just don't think that would happen. But I mean, I hope Stevie at least is right in the sense of he's maybe skilled enough to get 200 more yards, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. So yeah, we're gonna fly through this next little bit. The defense part, I'm gonna ask you quick. Just give me a yes, no, and if you have a yes, who? So we're gonna go to the defense now. That's gonna be the offense. Defense, like I said, not really much was there, but defensive player of the year. We had 2 guys that had odds kind of out there. Bradley Chubb at plus 7,500, Ed Oliver at 12,500. 2 I've seen to up to plus 30,000. 1, do you think either have a chance? And do you think any other guys should be mentioned? If yes, who?
No, I don't really see a defensive player of the year necessarily. If Cole Bishop comes out of nowhere and makes a huge impact, he's getting some traction with people and could be a name to watch there. If I don't know if Rousseau somehow turns into this massive edge rusher that can put sacks in the stat sheet in this defense, then Rousseau has the ability. Those are the only things I can think of. I'm not sure that the linebackers are going to be there to do anything within the defensive player of the year realm. And yeah, I don't see any of the defensive just yet. I mean, I guess until I see more of these guys in this scheme, it's going to be hard for me to really put much stock. I really like to see them have a little success before I go thinking the world of them in this defense. I just want to see how they're going to attack. And no doubt in my mind that they're going to be attacking and more aggressive. It's just we'll see how that all plays out for any one individual award. You're muted, buddy, or I can't hear you.
I was muted. My bad. Yeah, I agree with Roy. I don't think there's a defense player on the year.
I just said that, Roy.
Copier. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I just think it's tougher than offense player of the year in my opinion for a single player to win, because you have one, how they do it. Is it going to be, Pat Surtain? It was kind of a year of like, oh, well, now they're going to go corner, and compared to deep edge, like they've gone a lot, with Myles Garrett and everything. So yeah, I just think it's a tough award. I do think maybe a guy like Christian Benford could get himself in that conversation if he has like an absolute lockdown year. Bishop maybe, but safety I feel like is so hard to win it.
Yeah, it's really hard.
And I just don't think either edge has a chance. Ed Oliver, maybe he has a long shot, but again, it's just such a tough award. So I'm going to go with no. I don't think anybody will win it. Coach of the year, I want to talk about next. Another year award, Joe Brady. He has the tied for 1, 2, 3. Let me count here real quick. 5th best odds. Did I just count that correctly? Yes. Tied for the 5th best odds. Harbaugh's at plus 600. Jesse Minter in Baltimore is at plus 800. Robert Saleh in Tennessee is plus 1,000. Kellen Moore, my guy, shout out Boise State Broncos, and he's coaching right now his quarterback, Tyler Shuff, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. He's coaching over the Saints. He's at plus 1,200, and then tied with Todd Monken over in Cleveland is Joe Brady at plus 1,400. 1, do you like those odds for Joe Brady? And 2, out of those other 5, do you think he should be listed higher than any of them?
I think he's got the best opportunity out of all of them. I think he comes in knowing who he is and who his offense is. And I think that really bodes well for this team. And if they keep firing on all cylinders and are able to put together a special season under Joe Brady, then you may see, if the Buffalo Bills win 13, 14 games with this schedule, you're going to see Joe Brady as coach of the year.
Yeah, I think he's in one of the best positions out of all these guys. I mean, Minter, yes, he's in a good position as well. It's you got Lamar Jackson. Harbaugh being the highest is kind of crazy to me. I know the Giants are all the hype now, and Jackson Dart's the hype and all that, but it just seems a bit high for me. Saleh, I get because the Titans were that bad. That's the only reason I get that. My bet, though, if I had to go besides Joe Brady, is Kellen Moore. I think the Saints are going to have a huge turnaround. And I believe it is voted on before the end. All of these awards are voted on before.
They're all regular season awards. So
yes, so that's good. That's one of the good things the NFL does, because there's other leagues that vote during the playoffs, which is crazy. But yeah, I do like his odds. I like his, and Kellen Moore's the best at 1,200 and 1,400. But yeah, I think when it comes to who's in the best situation, I mean, it's tough to say that it's not Joe Brady. He's kind of in a similar situation, I guess, to Minter, of like, okay, the only difference is one's offensive coach, one's defensive coach. So we'll see. But onto the Bills season now. I'm going to I'll start with just the first one of over-under wins, 10.5 at minus 125. I mean, you can go ahead and take that one to start. I'll go after you.
Yeah, I'm absolutely going to smash it, but I want to see. I'm not going to play it until closer to the season, because I want to see if it trends down towards a minus 110 line as the season gets closer, as people evaluate the schedule, and we'll see. This is the one bet it's minus 125, both FanDuel and DraftKings right now. And this is the one I want to see when Scott's blog comes out before the season starts, how much the line might move in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, because I think people at plus 105 to go under 10.5, people might start taking that given the Bills schedule, being like, oh, they're going to get to 10, but I don't know if they're going to go more than that. And I like it. I like them to win 11 or 12 games this year for sure. So, but maybe that's just a biased fan in me. I just think when you have the best quarterback in the league, a top fledged running back, you have every chance at least to get out there and win a bunch of games regardless of your schedule. They've been playing first place schedules now for a while, and this is even I believe this year is going to be a second place schedule. So still tough and still going to be hard, but they navigated it last year, still got over there. So we'll see how it goes, but I can't imagine the Bills not having 11 wins this season.
Yeah. I
barring something catastrophic, like an injury of some sort to a major. But,
yes. The only thing I want to add to that, which I agree with everything you said, the only thing I want to add is on top of everything you said, in theory, they should have also 4 free wins against the Dolphins and the Jets.
Yeah.
So I know it's a tougher schedule. It's a second place schedule still. It's still a tough one. Got a lot of good opponents there, and New England is on the way up, and they obviously made it to the Super Bowl last year, and they're a tough team. I just think if you have 4 free wins, you have an MVP style quarterback, there's no way you should not get to 11 plus, even if you did just go through all the change you went through. So, I
want to ask you this. We didn't talk about this before the show. I mentioned that I was going to ask you something during the show that I wasn't going to tell you before. This is the part where I want to ask it. So 10.5 wins is the Bills number, but there are only 4 other teams with plus that the Bills have plus odds to have more wins than. So who do you think the betting lines favor having more wins than the Buffalo Bills right now? 4 teams.
I'm going to rule out all of the AFC West because it's the AFC West. I'm going to rule out. I can't rule out any of that division. I'm going to rule out all of the AFC North.
Nope.
Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens. The Bills. The Bills are plus 125 to have more regular season wins than the Ravens. That's the only reason the second longest odds for the Bills. So it's the second best team, I guess, or in this format. But there's second longest odds for any team for the Bills to have more wins than that team. So there's 3 more teams. All of them are in the NFC.
All of them in the NFC. I'm gonna go the Eagles. I'm going to go, let's see, Eagles, Seahawks, Rams.
Seahawks and Rams, not the Eagles.
Not the Eagles.
Bills are minus 120 to have more wins than the Eagles.
Not the Lions. Is it an NFC or NFC North team?
Why'd you say not the Lions?
I just think with that division, you got Chicago there, you got Minnesota.
Spoiler, it is the Lions. So.
That's crazy.
It's the Lions, Seahawks, Ravens, and Rams. On FanDuel, at least, I saw this and I had to bring it up. So Lions plus the Bills are plus 115 to have more wins than the Detroit Lions, plus 100 to have more wins than the Seattle Seahawks, plus 125 for the Ravens, and then plus 175 for the Rams, which we can all understand. So, yeah, everybody else, only 4 teams that the Bills are plus odds to have more wins, and then the Patriots are even or around even at minus 110, Bengals minus 110 as well, Niners minus 115.
Yeah, that's interesting. That I don't know. I mean, I just would have thought the same reason with the NFC North, with the same reason I thought the AFC West was just it's such, and I thought kind of a little bit maybe with the NFC West as well, but Arizona's in that division, and the 49ers I feel like are looked at weird every year when it comes to their line, so I don't think they saw them that high. But yeah, that's a good little question there. I do want to answer these 2 real quick. Rory, yes, Bill's second place schedule. it's close. It's close when it comes to it. On paper, it might say something different, but at the end of the day, once you get into the season, nobody knows how these teams are going to perform. And then Sandra, interesting question here. If you want to answer it, you can. I'm just going to answer quick. I do not think free agency should be after the draft. Simply put, just because it isn't like
with
hockey.
free agency and then draft is the draft.
Well, it's also not like hockey or basketball or anything where unless you're getting a top flight pick in those sports, it's going to be some time for these guys to develop. You're not getting an impact player right away. Where NFL, you can get an impact player pretty much right away if you want. And you're looking like Jason said here, like you can draft for needs then and or best player available. I don't know. I would still rather have the draft after free agency starts, but that's just me. John, we will get to your question in a more closer to kind of training camp and everything. I do see it. Don't want you just don't think I don't see it, but we will.
We did say Jackson Acker previous shows as well, so that's the quick answer is Jackson Acker is fullback.
The next three I want to ask you. I'm going to group them all together. Ask which one's your favorite. Okay, and which one you think is kind of the best odds here. AFC East odds, AFC Championship to win it, so to win the AFC, and then to win the Super Bowl. The odds for all those. Bills are favorites in the AFC East at -125. Pats are at +120. Jets plus 1,900, and then Dolphins plus 4,000. To win the AFC, Bills have the second best odds. Ravens are at +470. Bills are at +510, so not far behind. Patriots are +760. Chiefs +770. Chargers +830. Super Bowl champs, Bills are +1,000. They are only behind the Rams at +550, tied with the Ravens. And then the Seahawks are +1,100. And then the Eagles, Pats, and Chiefs are all +1,600. So which out of those do you like the best for the Bills?
I already put a bet on one of these, and I'm going to answer your question with a question. Which one do you think I already put a bet on?
Super Bowl?
Yeah, exactly. So had a bonus bet, whatever, +1,000 for a $10 bonus bet. I throw it on there. So I learned from our betting guru, Scott Casson, to use your bonus bets on futures. So that's what he does, and I like that. So I started doing that myself. I thought since I did put something on the Knicks to win the NBA championship, and then they did win the NBA championship. So the New York Knicks are, in fact, world champions of the NBA right now. And it feels very good, even though free agency is now eclipsing their championship, which they had a good 2-week window to celebrate. I just felt like, hey, let's do it again and throw something on Buffalo here. I hadn't ever bet that prop before, so see what happens. I've never bet that prop before. The Bills have never won the Super Bowl before. This is a great marriage.
That's one thing I do with my teams, except for the Red Sox, because the Red Sox, I just have no faith in to actually win. Sabres, this was the first year I actually did it, because this is the first year I thought, oh, maybe they can. With the Bills, Sabres, and my Celtics, which we're not going to get into right now.
Rough.
Yeah, rough. I'll usually, like, throughout the season, put little, like, 5, 10, like, just little ones throughout the season. So some, like, by the end of the Sabre season, I think you knew I had like 10 little $5 bets. So I basically $100 for them to win it, win it all. So I'll do that throughout the season. So I'll definitely do the Bills again. My favorite one is the AFC East, even though it's -125. I just think that's a lock, and we haven't seen the other two, so it's hard for me to them do the other two at least. It's hard.
My brain hates all the bets that are minus, that start with a minus symbol. So,
well, that's usually, you know what Scott would say to that.
I know he's teaching me. I'm trying to get, well, hey, I like the 10.5 wins, -125. So I'm good there, but I don't know if I would touch it at -125 for the AFC East. It's just a little bit too volatile for me. And coming off a season where you didn't win it and you have a new coaching staff, I'd rather take my odds at where all you have to do is get in the tournament and then you can win the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl at plus money. I'd like those odds a little bit better, and it's they don't have to win a division to do that. So
yeah, that's another one I like to wait, I think, on, maybe besides the Super Bowl one, like I said, because I'll just throw randomly. But yeah, like AFC championship or anything, that'd be one I'd wait on, just because I think throughout the season it can fluctuate and go up so easily early in the season. So I'd maybe wait on that one. Last one I got here for you, because we're not going to go over the week one odds for that yet, because we'll get to that closer to week one. I saw this one and I thought it was really interesting on DraftKings. Wins after first 5 games. And the first 5 games for the Buffalo Bills is a doozy. It is a tough first 5 games. You got at Houston, hosting Detroit, hosting the Chargers, hosting New England, and then at the Rams. The odds for that to go 0-5 is plus 4,000. So they do not think that's going to happen. They think there's a very low chance that will happen. To win 1, plus 700. So not even they still think it's not really likely, but could happen. 2 wins plus 250, 3 wins out of that plus 175. I don't know if I have the odds wrong on this. Nope, I do have the odds right on that. 4 wins plus 340, and then 5 wins plus 1,200. Which one do you like the best when it comes to those odds? And do you think that's actually going to happen?
I'd go 4 at plus 340. Personally, I like those odds. Probably would sprinkle on 3 as well at plus 175, which is the best odds of the lot here. But yeah, I probably hit 4. I don't know. The Rams game's tough. It's going to be tough to get to 4, really, realistically. But hoping to buck the trend in Houston to start. Home opener, you got to have that one. Chargers coming across the country. Get out of here. New England, 3rd straight home game now. You're going against New England, barring any unforeseen circumstances. It's really getting that first one at Houston, and then hopefully you can rattle off. I mean, it's one of the best home teams in the country, or in the league. So you have the best chance there for them to go 3-0 in a stretch when they're playing at home, even though the teams are on paper tough. Still going to be early on. Detroit's probably going to have things pretty well figured out, but you don't know whether the Chargers and New England will be adjusting things still at that point in the season. And then you go to the Rams, which is probably going to be on everyone's docket as probably an L when you look at your schedule and fill that out with wins and losses. So I'd go 4 at plus 340.
Yeah, I think just because the odds and everything, I would also go 4, because if you get past Houston, I think there's a good chance you can start 4-1 there. 5, I know it would be nice. I just don't think that's happening. I really, even though the odds I know plus 1,200, I actually think there's a better chance they go 0-5 than they go 5-0. If I'm being completely honest, I just think it's such a tough stretch of games, especially to start the season when you're still kind of getting everything set and teams are figuring out who they are. I just think it's so tough to start the season 5-0, especially against these 5 teams. So I would actually, if I had to choose, I would take 0 over 5. Is it bad that 1, the odds wise, is like kind of talking to me like a little bit? Like, I don't think it will happen. But again, it's such a tough one where like they could realistically, if you drop that first one, even if you went against, like, I don't know, it's just so tough. I would definitely go.
I wouldn't be able to get lower than 2, honestly. I mean, you could talk me into throwing something on 2 at plus 250.
Oh,
but
I'm never going to throw it on there. I'll say that. I just think when you're talking odds and the schedule, I think it's not bad odds for plus 700 at 1. But yeah, I would take 3 or 4. But and yes, John is correct here. If they want to get to 4, he's going to need to play better in Houston. And yeah, you're going to need that one if you're going to want to get to 4. I don't think they get there if they don't win against Houston. Yep. So
use your sporting caster. That's what you got to do. And we'll talk more about it as it gets closer. Hopefully going to do some pretty good content around that Houston game. So excited for it, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that the Bills would lose, and even the odds, which we're going to get into, suggest that the line is Bills minus 1.5 right now. So yeah, I don't see. I'm not super scared about it. Look, Houston's dominated them, and we know all that, and we'll talk about it more. But
we're going to get it done and over with, Lance. That's the good part. It's going to be done over with no matter what the result is. It's going to be done and over with. You can move on, and then by week 8, nobody's going to care about week 1.
Exactly. There you go. All right. Well,
All I
that
got
about
for you.
does it for us. Again, smash that like button. Share this with your friends. Go ahead and check out Spotify or Odyssey or Apple Pod, wherever you get your podcasts, and listen back. Give us a download. Head over to the YouTube channel for Built in Buffalo Podcast Network and subscribe to that and hit that notification bell to let you know every time we go live. We would greatly appreciate it. If you're on Facebook, like and share. On X, repost and like. And maybe next week we'll have our third member back in the saddle with us, and we'll be chomping at the bit to talk a little bit more Bills, and we'll see what that brings. Maybe some 53-man roster stuff and training camp previews and different things. So excited to roll on here and hopefully get Scott back, like we said. So we'll hopefully get through the 4th of July with all of our fingers first and foremost, and hope everyone has a safe and happy holiday weekend. Get some earmuffs for the kids if they don't like fireworks. Try to get those thunder jackets for the dogs if they don't like fireworks. But just be safe overall. Don't drink and drive. And we'll see you on the other side of it. Happy 250th birthday, America. We love you. Go Bills.
Go Bills.